What if I told you there was a Samsung exclusive feature that's so powerful you could shut down your entire home just by unlocking your phone with your pinky instead of your thumbs? Pretty cool, huh? And shutting your house down is only the tip of the iceberg. In this video, I'll be showing you how to control your TV by double pressing the volume down button on your phone, how to increase the temperature on your thermostat by double pressing the volume up button, how to control your lights by waving your S Pen around like a magic wand, how to control literally anything on your phone without ever touching it, and so much more. Get ready to take some notes because today we're diving deep into Samsung's powerhouse app called Modes and Routines. And if you stick through to the end, I'll even show you some hidden features that aren't available by default. When you first set up your Samsung device, you may not see the Modes and Routines application. If you can't find this application in your application drawer, just pull down your notification shade twice to reveal all of your quick toggles, and scroll across until you find an option called Modes. If you don't see Modes in any of your quick toggles, tap the plus icon at the end, and check up here to see if it's in this menu. If it is, just long press it, and drag it down to your main menu. Once you found the Modes quick toggle, tap the text below the toggle. Don't tap the toggle because that'll just turn it on. You want to specifically tap the text. Then tap Details, then tap these three dots, then tap Settings, then enable this option here that says Show Modes and Routines on the app screen. This will give you much faster access to this app. Once your Modes and Routines application is available, go ahead and tap it to open it. Once you're in the application, you'll have two sections. You have Modes, which is for quickly automating things related to sleeping, driving, going to work, and a bunch of other things. And you could even create custom modes, which I'll show you in a little bit. And you also have Routines. And this is where you get the truly powerful features that let you automate just about anything on your phone based on just about any trigger you can think of. These triggers include everything from Wi-Fi strength to your specific geolocation, even unlocking your phone with a specific fingerprint like I showed you guys a moment ago. Originally, I wanted to jump right into Routines to show you guys the true potential of this application, but as I started filming, I realized that we really need to start in Modes for some of the routines to make sense. So let's jump over to Modes and start there. Now, when you first open up Modes, you get these 6 default options that you can enable. And these are great starting points, but I'm going to create a brand new mode to show you guys everything you can do. At the top, you can change the name of your mode, and I'm going to call this one Focus Mode. You can then select a different icon to represent the mode and change the color. If you want a very specific color, you can tap the color option at the very end and choose something different. Once you're done with these selections, tap Done, and that allows you to start customizing the mode. At the top, you have the option to turn the mode on manually or have it turn on automatically. And if you want to have it turn on automatically, there's a number of different ways you can make that happen. The first option is for when you open a specific application, and you can choose a single application or a group of applications. The next option is to have the mode automatically enable when you connect to or disconnect from a specific Bluetooth device. You can also set a time period, and this can be a specific time during specific days of the week. You can have it set from sunrise to sunset, and if you tap the start or end times, you can have it start up to 60 minutes before or after sunrise or sunset. And at the bottom, you have the option to turn it off during public holidays. Place lets you turn the mode on based on a location. You could use your current location, your preset home location, your preset work location, or you can pick any custom place you'd like. To pick a custom place, you can use the search bar, or you can scroll around the map and long press a different location to select that place. You can also change the trigger radius. If you make it very small, the mode will only trigger when you're in that small area. And this would be good if you wanted it to trigger in something like a small office. If you make the radius big, it'll trigger the mode in a much bigger area. And this would be good if you want the mode to be enabled when you're at somewhere like a theme park. You can also have the mode automatically enable when you arrive or leave that location. And if you have access to Wi-Fi at that location, you can improve accuracy by including that Wi-Fi network here. And the last option is to have the mode automatically enable based on conditions. And there are a bunch of different conditions to pick from. And these conditions are just a small subset of conditions compared to what's available when you use the Routines option. And I'll be covering all of these in detail when we talk about Routines. For now, just know that the conditions include things like your current charging status, whether or not you have dark mode enabled, and much more. So if I were to select during exercise, and I picked a specific exercise, that would make this routine run automatically only when I'm doing this specific exercise. And if I wanted to, I could stack different conditions, and this will make the mode turn on automatically if either of those conditions are met. And in case you're wondering, time periods are also stackable, so you can have the mode automatically enabled during different time periods on different days. And to be clear, all of these conditions work independently of each other. What that means is only one of these conditions need to be met in order for the mode to turn on. So if you wanted a mode to only turn on when all of the conditions are met simultaneously, you would need to use a routine, and I'll show you guys how to do that in a little bit. You also have the option of temporarily disabling some of the conditions as well. Once you're done picking your conditions, just tap Done. And now you can select what happens when that mode is enabled. The first option is to enable Do Not Disturb mode. And if you tap the Do Not Disturb text, you get two customization options. The first one allows you to select which specific calls and messages are allowed. So you can allow calls and messages from specific contacts. You also get the option to allow no calls to come in, or have all calls allowed, calls from contacts only, or calls from your favorite contacts only. And you get the same option for messages as well. And you also get this repeat callers option, which allows a call to come through if they call twice within 15 minutes. This one's definitely worth enabling if you don't want to miss a call about an emergency situation. You also get the option to enable notifications from specific applications, and you can select however many applications you'd like. Restricting app usage is especially useful for something like a focus mode because it prevents you from opening applications that will kill your focus. If you scroll up, you'll see all the applications that are enabled by default, and you can add to that list by selecting applications from below. If I tried to access a restricted application while focus mode was enabled, it'll tell me that I wouldn't be allowed to access that application while the mode is on. I could then tap OK to acknowledge it, or I could jump into settings and disable the mode. Once the mode is disabled, I'll be able to access the application. And in case you're wondering, these restrictions also apply to widgets. If I tried to access this widget, I would get the same notification. Below restrict app usage, you also get the option to change your phone's settings. And there are a bunch of different settings to pick from. And again, I'm going to be going over all of these options in the routine section, but for now, just know that you can do really powerful things like control any SmartThings device you have connected to your phone. You can also add an action at the bottom, which gives you access to the full list of all the routine actions. For now, the important thing to know is that you can stack as many of these actions as you want. Once you're done selecting all your actions, go ahead and tap Done, and that'll bring you back to your main page where you can make your final changes here. And that final change has to do with wallpaper on your lock screen, home screen, and even your watch if you have a Galaxy Watch connected. So if I tap the middle option, that'll allow me to automatically change my wallpaper to anything I have downloaded. So for something like a focus mode, a dark wallpaper would be a good choice. And similarly for the watch face, I can select a more subdued watch face to be less distracting. And as you can see, you get a preview of the wallpapers you selected. Once you're done with all these options, tap the back arrow, and you've successfully created a new mode. If you want to enable any of these modes really quickly, just pull your notification shade down twice with one finger, or pull it down once with two fingers to reveal all of your quick toggles. Then swipe over it until you find your mode's quick toggle, tap the toggle itself, and select the mode that you want to enable. And as you can see, all the changes to my phone are made automatically. Then when you want to turn a mode off, I can just tap the mode here, or go back to the quick toggle and tap it again. Now that you know how to use modes, let's jump into routines and show you guys the truly powerful stuff. And before we dive deep into all the individual routines, I want to give you guys a quick preview of just how powerful this is with some of the routines that I already set up. This wife priority routine makes sure that I always get alerted from calls or text from my wife, regardless of whether or not I have Do Not Disturb mode turned on. If my phone's on silent, it doesn't matter, I will always get a message from my wife. Auto Mute TV will automatically mute my TV whenever I take a phone call. This makes it a lot easier to quickly take a phone call without having to first find the remote to turn the TV down. Shut Down House is the routine that I showed you guys at the beginning of the video. Battery Saver helps significantly extend the overall longevity of my battery and will allow me to have great battery life for many years. Emergency Fast Charge only enables fast charging under very specific circumstances. And Auto Navigate Home will automatically start navigating home if I unlock my phone with a specific fingerprint when I'm not home. So that's just a quick preview of some automations. Now let's dive deep into what you can do. At the top of the Routines tab, you'll see 3 icons. And if this is your first time using modes and routines, I recommend tapping this middle icon. What this will do is suggest a bunch of pre-made routines, and they're all split up into different categories based on what you want to automate with your phone. So if you know you want automation based on maybe saving some battery life, you can tap the battery option, and you'll get some battery automation options. And under each option is a brief description of what each one does. So if you want to save battery at night when you forget to put your phone on the charger, you can select this option, and it's automatically going to set the routine up for you. You can then customize a routine by tapping Edit. From here, you can add more conditions or more things that the routine will do. And I'll dive deeper into all of these options in a minute, but for now, just know that you can quickly create your first routines using this method. Once you've made your changes, just tap Save, then go back to the main Routines menu, and you'll see that that new routine has been added. Jumping back into this Recommendations option, you can see there's a search bar at the top. And if you tap this, you can search for specific things that you want to do. So if I wanted to set up an automation that would enable auto rotate whenever I open up a specific application, I could just type the word auto in, and you can see there's already an option here called auto rotate. So I'm going to select that. And this mode is preset to automatically enable auto rotate whenever I open up the YouTube application. Then when I leave the YouTube application, it'll go back to whatever the screen orientation was before going into that application. And this has the same customization options that I showed you guys earlier. So if you didn't want the app to be YouTube and you want it to be something else, just tap here and select a different application. And you can even select multiple applications if you'd like. I specifically wanted this for YouTube, so I'm just going to go ahead and tap save. Once you've set up some default routines to get started, it's time to dive in and set up some advanced routines. To do this, you're going to tap the plus icon at the top. This gives you a blank canvas to start on. And you'll see that this is split into two sections, an if section and a then section. The if is all of the conditions that need to be met before something happens. The then section is what's going to happen once all of the if conditions are met. So let's add an if condition to see just how powerful this is. This screen is split up into a bunch of different categories depending on what conditions you want to set. The first option is called mode active, and this is referring to the modes that I showed you guys earlier. If I choose one of these options, this routine is going to run whenever that mode is active. Start manually allows you to manually start the routine by tapping on the routine in the Modes and Routines application, or by tapping on a widget that you enable. This would be really useful for quickly running complex operations on your phone in one tap. Next, you have Wake Up Time, which automatically detects when you wake up and starts a routine whenever you wake up. And you have the same option for when you're getting ready to go to sleep. This is also automatically detected, and that's detected by monitoring when you typically stop using your phone at night, and using that to determine when you typically get ready for bed. You can also have a routine run only while you're sleeping, and if you have a Samsung smartwatch, it'll use that to detect when you're sleeping. And if you don't have a Samsung smartwatch, it'll use your phone to detect when you're sleeping, just like it did with the before bedtime option. You can have a routine run automatically when you're driving, and this is detected based on which car's Bluetooth system you're connected to. So you can have a different automation for different cars. And to change the car, just tap the text, tap the Bluetooth option, tap select another device, and select a different car. Traveling abroad is especially useful if you want to make sure that you don't accidentally use any of your mobile data when you're in another country. So I could use this traveling abroad condition and set my routine to disable mobile data. Then when I get back in my home country, mobile data will be re-enabled. Scrolling down, you can also run routines at specific times or for specific time periods. If you choose specific time, you can set the time manually, choose sunrise or sunset, and the time before or after the sunrise or sunset, and you can choose which days you want to run it for. You even have the option to turn the routine off for public holidays. Time period is a bit different because you have a start time and an end time, and you still get sunrise and sunset related options as well. And if you tap the start time and end time when using the sunset and sunrise options, you still get the before and after adjustments as well. And of course, you can still select different days that you want it to run for and turn it off for public holidays. You can set the routine to run when you either arrive at or leave a specific place. And this has all the same options that I showed you in the mode section earlier. You can also run a routine based on a bunch of different connection settings. These include when you're connected or disconnected from a specific Wi-Fi network, the amount of Wi-Fi strength you have, and this would be good for automatically switching to your mobile network if you have issues with your Wi-Fi when you have 1 bar or less. Then when you have more than 1 bar, it'll switch back to your Wi-Fi. You can also run routines based on whether or not your Wi-Fi is enabled or disabled, when you're connected to or disconnected from a specific Bluetooth device, when you tap a specific NFC tag, whether or not you have airplane mode enabled, and whether or not you have your mobile hotspot enabled. Scrolling further down, you can also run automations based on different device parameters. These include whether or not you're connected to wired headphones, your charging status. You can run routines based on your battery level, and this can be below a specific percentage or equal to or above a specific percentage, and you can of course change this percentage to whatever you'd like. You can also run routines based on your sound mode, or whether or not dark mode is enabled, and even if Samsung DeX just started or ended. Scrolling further down, we can also run routines based on specific events, and that could be when a specific application is opened, and that can be more than one application if you'd like. It can be when any game is being played, or during an exercise, and that can be any exercise or specific exercises, and there is a massive list of exercises to choose from. You can run a routine when you get a text message, and that can be from anyone, specific senders, and it can be any message or a message with a specific keyword. And you can add multiple keywords or phrases up to 70 characters. You can run routines based on notifications received from specific applications. And you can do it with any notification from those applications or specific notifications from those applications based on keywords. If you have a Samsung smartwatch connected to your phone, you'll also get this option here, and this allows you to automatically run a routine when you either enable or disable theater mode on your Galaxy Watch. And the last event option is Link to Windows, and this allows you to run a routine when you either connect or disconnect from a computer using Link to Windows. And scrolling to the bottom, we have just a few more options. You can have an incoming call from anyone or a specific person. You can also run routines during a call, again, from anyone or specific people. And the last option on this page, before we get into the hidden options that I'll show you guys in a minute, is called Selected Alarm Dismissed. And what this does is allow you to run a routine whenever you dismiss a specific alarm. The last important thing to point out about these if statements is that they are stackable. So for example, I can set up a routine that will only run between sunrise and sunset every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, while I'm also connected to my Galaxy Buds 2 Pro, and my Wi-Fi strength is less than 1 bar, and my battery level is below 13% specifically, and I'm playing any game. All 5 of these conditions will have to be met simultaneously in order for the routine to run. So as you can already see, this is incredibly powerful, and we haven't even gotten to the then statements yet. So let's jump into those now and see how insanely powerful this is. At the top, you get recommendations that will change over time. Below that, you get an option to see all of the actions in a single list, and there are a ton of different actions. And below that is a bunch of different categories, and if you tap one of the categories, you can see options within those categories. So let's start at the top and work our way down. One of the most useful features is right here at the top, and you get the ability to control any of your SmartThings devices. This includes lights, TVs, refrigerators, robot vacuums, literally anything that can connect to SmartThings can be controlled automatically with a routine. And you can do a lot more than just turn things on and off. For my Sonos speakers, I get the option to adjust the volume, play or pause media, or mute or unmute the audio. At the top, I also get the option to send a notification, and that'll be a custom audio notification that can be whatever I want. And you can even set the volume level for that notification. All the way at the bottom, you can even run any custom scenes that you set up. And if you tap the information icon next to one of the scenes, it'll show you what that scene does. From here, I can even edit that scene to do something different. And I even get the ability to create a brand new scene at the bottom. And what this will do is allow me to control multiple devices at the same time. And here's where you get access to even more features. So if I tap my Sonos speaker again and tap next, you'll see that I get more controls if I set it up as a scene versus controlling the individual device. Backing out to the main actions page, you can see that you get custom actions depending on which devices you have connected to your Samsung device. So since I have Galaxy Buds Pro connected, I have this extra option here, and if I tap that, I can change all of these features when the routine is triggered. You can even change what the touch and hold feature does for the left and right ears independently. If you have a Galaxy Watch connected, you'll be able to change the watch face of that Galaxy Watch. And this would be useful if you wanted to have a workout watch face with shortcuts to all of your workouts while you're at the gym, a work watch face that has shortcuts to different work applications when you're at work, and a home watch face with different shortcuts for when you're at home. Now, at the time of making this video, changing the watch face is the only option you get with a Galaxy Watch. But hopefully, Samsung adds new automations in a future update. And in case you're wondering, it doesn't matter which Galaxy Watch you have connected, they're all limited to just changing the watch face. The next action item is called Connections. And what this does is allow you to modify all of these different connection settings. So you get the option to either enable or disable Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. You can make your phone connect to a nearby Bluetooth device or disconnect from a specific device. You can change your music share options. And this is a feature that lets other people play music on your Bluetooth speakers without having to connect directly to those speakers. So this action allows you to open up that feature to everyone and also allow them to connect without first having to approve it on your device. You can enable or disable both NFC and airplane mode. You can switch your network mode, enable or disable both your mobile data or your mobile hotspot, connect to a VPN. Now, this one would be especially useful if you were connected to a Wi-Fi network that wasn't your home Wi-Fi network and you opened up a banking application. You could have the VPN automatically connect to protect all of your data. Then the VPN would disconnect when you're not in any sensitive applications. And you could also automatically disconnect from a VPN. And the last option on this page is to enable or disable Data Saver. Backing out of connections, the next option we have here is Connected Devices. And this section allows you to enable or disable calls and texts on other devices, turn on or off Samsung DeX, turn on or off Link to Windows, and change your quick share settings. Backing out of the Connected Devices section, we also get sounds and vibrations. You can change everything from your sound mode and volume, and this volume affects individual things. so I could change my ringtone, notification, and system volume independently. You can also independently change your media volume based on whether you're using your phone speaker, wired headphones, or Bluetooth headphones. You can enable or disable your dialing keypad tone, Samsung keyboard sounds, and Samsung keyboard vibrations. You can enable or disable Dolby Atmos and set the mode that it's going to work in. This would be useful if you wanted to automatically switch to movie mode when you're in a movie application and music mode when you're in a music application. You can redirect the audio from specific applications to either your phone or a specific Bluetooth device. This would be particularly useful if you're listening to music on a Bluetooth speaker and then you received a phone call. You'd want that phone call to go to your phone speaker, not the Bluetooth speaker, because then everyone could hear your conversation. You can adjust your equalizer, change the Bixby voice call volume as well as your in-call volume, and even change your ringtone. And this is great if you want to have a professional sounding ringtone at work, but a more fun sounding ringtone at home. Under sounds and vibrations, you get notification actions, and this allows you to enable or disable Do Not Disturb mode. You can show a custom notification, and this notification will pop up on your screen whenever the conditions are met. This would be useful for letting you know when your battery is below a certain percentage, or even letting you know you forgot to bring your smartwatch with you when you get in your car. And you also get the option to read the notification out loud. And this last option is different than this Read Notifications Aloud option, because what this does is read all notifications out loud from specific applications. This feature would be particularly useful if you wanted your messages to be read out loud on your headphones whenever you're at the gym and working out, but at no other times. Display has a lot of great options. You can enable or disable both dark mode and grayscale mode. You can change your brightness, enable or disable adaptive brightness, change the refresh rate to either 120 Hz or 60 Hz, enable or disable Eye Comfort Shield, which is a feature that blocks some of the blue light coming from your screen to make it easier to go to sleep at night. You can change your font style, as well as your font size. You can change the screen zoom, which makes all the text on your screen either bigger or smaller. This would be particularly useful if you wear reading glasses, but there's some times when you don't have your reading glasses with you, like maybe if you're working out at the gym. You can increase the screen zoom amount only while you're at the gym so that you can read messages without having your glasses on. You can change the screen resolution, the screen timeout period, and even change the screen rotation options. So you can have it set to auto-rotate, always in portrait, always in landscape, and you could also have this affect the home screen and video call screens as well if you'd like. Further down, you can customize your edge panels and choose which ones are available, and the last option is to enable or disable touch sensitivity. The wallpaper option allows you to enable or disable dark mode for your wallpaper, or change your lock screen or home screen wallpapers to anything you have downloaded to your device. The lock screen option lets you keep your phone unlocked for 4 hours after all the routine conditions are met. You can also change your left and right lock screen shortcuts. This would be useful if you wanted quick access to work-related applications at work, home-related applications at home, and a different set of applications when you're out and about. You can also change a bunch of your always-on display settings, and even change which biometrics you want to use to unlock your device. So maybe when you're home, you want the less secure face unlock, but when you're out of the home, you want to set it to fingerprints. Security has just one option, and that's to turn on secure Wi-Fi. This is similar to the VPN option, but it's Samsung's built-in feature. Location also has one option, and that's to either enable or disable the location features. And the same for accounts and backup, your only option is to enable or disable autosync. Battery gives you a few really useful options, so you can quickly enable or disable power saving mode, but you can also enable or disable fast charging, fast wireless charging, and the protect battery mode. These features are especially useful if you like to use your phones for 3, 4, 5, or more years before trading into a different device. Only enabling features like fast charging and fast wireless charging when you absolutely need it will help prolong the overall lifespan of your battery. Accessibility allows you to enable or disable all of these different features. And some of them have extra customization like extra dim, which allows you to change the intensity, and left and right sound balance, which allows you to customize the sound balance. Assistant menu and mono audio are just on-off toggles. Bixby Voice is where things start to get ridiculously powerful. The first option here is called Ask Bixby, and you can enter in any text command you'd like. For a basic example, if I typed in something like remember my parking spot, I could set up a routine that could automatically run whenever I disconnect from my car and I'm not at home. What this will do is automatically save the geolocation of my parking spot. Then when I'm ready to go back to my car, I can just ask Bixby where I parked. It'll bring up that geolocation and allow me to start navigating to exactly where my car is. The next option you have is the ability to run a quick command. Now these are custom commands that you set up with Bixby, and a lot of these actions are just not available with the built-in modes and routines actions. Now, obviously, you wouldn't run all of these commands together at the same time, but this is just to give you guys a rough idea of the potential here. And the last option is to enable or disable voice wake up. The next option is music, and this just allows you to play music from any music application you have installed. However, this won't allow you to select a specific playlist. This will just start playing the last thing that was selected. If you wanted to play a specific playlist, you could use one of Bixby's commands for that. The effects section allows you to make your device do one of these three things. You can make it beep once, vibrate once, and you can even make it run an edge lighting effect. And you can select from any of the existing edge lighting effects. You can even change the color. And in the advanced section, you can change the transparency, width, and duration. These three options are good add-on effects if you want to make it obvious when a routine runs. The function section brings you some powerful tools. You can go to a specific website, activate one of your navigation buttons, decline an incoming call with a specific message, change your video brightness, enabling or disabling the feature that allows you to bring up the Air Command menu when pressing the S Pen button. You can have your phone automatically take a screenshot or automatically start the screen recorder. You can automatically turn on or off your flashlight, or switch to voice input mode on your Samsung keyboard. Apps allow you to do some app-specific actions without having to use Bixby. So if I tap open an app or do an app action, I'll be met with all of my applications. Now, some of them don't have actions available, but if I scroll down a bit, you can see that Amazon allows me to jump straight to my orders, straight to my cart, or straight to deals. And as I scroll down, you'll see that different applications offer different shortcuts and different actions. But as I mentioned earlier, if you want to do a very specific action, you can use Bixby. You get some more basic options like closing an application or opening an app pair. And an app pair is just when you open up two different applications at the same time and they're on different parts of the screen. The app section also gives you the option to turn on or off specific alarms, start a timer for a custom amount of time, or start a stopwatch. The advanced options are just that. It gives you more advanced features. Most importantly, you get the option to show an action list. And an action list lets you select any one of these other features I've already showed you and add them to a list. What this will do is bring up a list of actions whenever the routine runs and let you choose what you'd like to do in that situation. Wait before next action just gives a pause before doing the next thing. This pause could be as short as 1 second or as long as 60 minutes. And confirm before next action allows you to choose whether or not you want to perform the next action. And if you ever want to quickly find a specific action, you can always just use the search bar at the top. So that's it for the if and then statements that aren't hidden. And as promised, now I'm going to show you guys how to unlock some powerful hidden features. To do that, you're going to have to open up the Galaxy Store application that came pre-installed on your Samsung device. Once you open up the store, you need to find the application called GoodLock. And that application is made by GoodLock Labs. Once you find that application, go ahead and install it and open the application. This is a tremendously powerful application made by Samsung themselves. And within this application are a bunch of different plugins that enhance the functionality of different parts of your Samsung device. And this includes both phones and tablets. The particular plugin we're looking for is in the Life Up section. If you scroll to the bottom of this section, then back up a little bit, you'll see an option called Routines Plus. And this is the plugin that you need to download in order to unlock the extra features. Once it's downloaded, it'll appear at the top of the Life Up section in your GoodLock application. From here, you need to go back into your Modes and Routines application. And if I select a new if statement and scroll to the bottom, you'll see this new option here called Routines Plus. And this is how I was able to run a routine by unlocking my phone with a specific fingerprint. Button action is an incredibly powerful feature that lets you customize these side keys on your phone. So for example, you could set a double press of your volume down button to take a screenshot instead of having to hold both the volume down and side keys. You could then create a different routine that allows you to open up a specific music application by holding the volume down button. And you have the same customizations for both the volume up and side keys as well. So that allows you to do 3 unique actions with each of these physical side buttons. And if I switch to using navigation buttons instead of the swipe style navigation I was using a moment ago, I would also be able to customize these 3 buttons. So this would allow me to run custom routines by either double tapping or touching and hold either of these 3 keys. And this would allow you to do things like turn off every smart device in your house on your way out the door just by holding the recent apps button. You can also customize your S Pen actions. And this allows you to do some really crazy things like holding the S Pen button down and swiping up to increase the volume on your TV, or holding it and swiping down to decrease the volume on your TV. Draw a clockwise circle with your S Pen to increase the brightness of your smart lights, or draw a counterclockwise circle to decrease the brightness. This feature adds a ton more potential to the S Pen. So that's it for the extra if statements. Now let's see what you get for added then statements. We're going to go ahead and scroll all the way to the bottom again, and you'll have this good luck option here. The first option is a touch macro, and what this does is allow you to do literally anything in any application by recording the series of swipes and taps that you do on your phone. To better understand this, I'll just create a new touch macro. The first thing you need to do is select an application. And for this, I'm going to use the Bible application because you can guarantee what I'm about to do is not a built-in routine. So then I'll just tap next, and it'll open up that application. From here, you get a few options on the side. And if I tap record, it's going to start recording everything I do. So as I swipe up and down, you see that each one of those swipes is being recorded. And if I tap into a different section of the application, those taps are also recorded. So for this specific example, if I want to pick back up where I left off in the Bible app, I can just tap that Bible option, then tap this play option, and it'll start playing it out loud. Once I'm done, I'll just tap stop, then save. Now I'll give it a name. Then you can choose the starting delay time, and this is the amount of time the macro is going to wait before it starts inputting any of the touch commands. So if you end up running this routine and the commands start too early, you can increase this time. You can also have those series of gestures repeat multiple times. And you can also add a delay between those repetitions. Once you're done with all of this, you can tap save, and the touch macro will appear here. If you tap this down arrow, you can play it or edit it. If you tap edit, it just brings you back to this screen here. And if I play it, you'll see that it's automatically doing all the different motions that I did earlier. If I want to stop the macro, I can pause it or stop it here. So with this one added feature here, you can do literally anything on your phone. You can change any setting and do anything you want in any application. Below the touch macro option is an arrow key option, and this just acts like pressing an arrow key on your keyboard. I'm not sure exactly when you would need this particular feature, but it is available if you need it. And the last added option is read text aloud. This will make your phone automatically read a custom message aloud based on different conditions. And this would be useful if you wanted your phone to audibly alert you when your battery was below a certain percentage. You can also set up audible alerts for things like security cameras. If you get a notification from your security camera, you could use this to audibly alert you that someone's there. That's it for this tech episode. God bless, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.